Give him Carrie a minute. Welcome. I don't know about you guys, but I am very anxious to get this meeting underway. It's going to be such a special meeting. So welcome to the September 26, 2019 Folsom Cordova School Board meeting. We're very happy that you're here with us. We would like to start this meeting with the pledge. And Sanaya Carson, would you take the honor of leading us?
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. At this point, I'd like to take roll call. Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Hoover?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
Mr. Short?
Here.
Thank you. The board has nothing to report from closed session. So with that being said, let's move on to our special presentation. Superintendent.
Thank you, President Ranking. And I want to welcome all of our folks that are here today joining us at our board meeting to honor and celebrate the life of a student that's with us that's so important. And Son Carson's here in the front row, and he's here because of all the folks that are here in this room that did not hesitate and treated him as one of our family and did whatever was necessary on that day, August 29th, at Cordova High School. Son is a sophomore at Cordova, and he was in his class, collapsed during class, and our school nurses, police officer who were assigned to the campus immediately began CPR. And it was a very scary event because initially our student was unresponsive. He was rushed to the hospital, and after his stunning recovery, after several days, he came back, and we're very happy he's back. And what this whole event disclosed was that there was another issue that was going on that was an undetected medical condition that Son had. And doctors believe he would not be alive today without the folks in this room performing life-saving efforts on Son. And we're just so thankful you're here, Son, and that your family is here. And we have many first responders in the room that are here. As well as Cordova High staff, health support staff that are assigned to Cordova High School, our SROs and our SAC Metro Fire, and the folks that are behind the technology of our AEDs. So I'm going to ask our district nurse to come forward first and introduce the folks that give us the life-saving equipment, and then we're going to present some certificates to each of our groups that are here that perform the life-saving for Son on that August 29th date. This is Carrie Kay, our district nurse. Welcome, Carrie.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's quite an honor to be here and a privilege to be here among so many first responders who, like you said, did not hesitate to do what was necessary and what was needed. So we have quite a few folks here, but we're going to start with the folks who help us know what to do and maintain our demeanor in emergency situations. So I'd like to introduce two folks from rescue training, Greg Landon and Pedro Mazzaro. They are both here, as well as a representative from Cardiac Science. Cardiac Science is the manufacturer of the AEDs that we choose to put in our schools, and Kyle Foster is here. So I'd like to bring them up. They have a little bit of a presentation about what happened and the importance of what we have in our schools. So thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. And thank you for the time to address you and to address those in attendance today. My name is Greg Landon. I'm the president of Rescue Training Institute. It's a local agency that works closely with Folsom Cordova, and we have since 2003 on AED programs. For the benefit of those in the audience that don't understand the clear, well-painted picture of the events that unfolded that day, I want to bring a little bit of light to that, because in that are the details that really matter. On August 29th of this year, the Folsom Cordova Unified School District didn't expect something that they were going to experience that day. Yet they were rewarded for the years that they planned, prepared, practiced, and they were given a gift that they have waited, and they've waited for many years. On that August morning, a 15-year-old student was sitting at his desk in a class at Cordova High School watching a movie, or so I'm told, when he lost consciousness and then he slumped to the floor. Then and there, he suffered sudden cardiac death, which is to say he stopped breathing. His heart stopped beating. He died, literally died that morning in that classroom. A series of events soon unfolded. His teacher summoned staff from the front office, and a health assistant arrived. After the health assistant arrived, a call was made to 911, and then further resources were requested in the form of additional resources of personnel and an AED, the automated external defibrillator. And for every minute that passes without a rescuer's intervention, his chances of survival would be dropping 10% every minute. CPR was quickly initiated, moving blood through the heart that was unable to pump by itself. Oxygen was delivered with every breath that was exhaled into Son. When the AED arrived, they skillfully placed the pads onto the patient's chest. The AED then analyzed the electrical rhythm and advised the rescuers to press a button to shock the patient, which they did. The student's rhythm didn't convert at that moment, but they began giving him the life-sustaining CPR that he needed. Soon thereafter, staff from Cordova High School transferred the patient care over to personnel from Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. The patient received advanced life support treatment from the skilled men and women of Metro Fire while en route to UC Davis Medical Center. It is there en route where he was finally defibrillated into a pulsing rhythm, where Son was brought back from the dead, literally in the back of an ambulance with defibrillation technology. As treatment progressed, the student's heart eventually began to respond, reorganize. He survived because of Folsom Cordova's commitment back in 2003, 16 years ago to the month, when they initiated the AED program at one of the elementary schools. They did so because a similar situation occurred in a student that was in elementary school. And in order for him to go back to school, they had to have a defibrillator on site. And in 2003, they entered the AED program here in Sacramento County. Today, we are witness to the fact that for Cordova High School, it has been rewarded for all of that preparing, all of the planning, and all of the practicing, and it has indeed rewarded them well. Son is, and his parents, would you do me a favor, please, and would you step forward? Son and family. And once you can just all line up here. And Son, if I could have you next to me. And Pedro, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the rescuers too. Can we please have Kristen Wadden, Blaine and Ingberg, Anita Smedley Brown, and Officer Tracy Jacobs. Can you please come up and step on this side of the podium for me, please? And I'll take this first. As the key personnel responding to the need that day last month, I wish to present you with commendation for your efforts. And if you don't mind, I'd like to read this. It applies to all four of you. Whereas on the date of August 29th, 2019, responded to aid at Cordova High School student Son Carson, who, while seated in class, had lost consciousness and subsequently lost both breathing and pulse, having suffered sudden cardiac death. And whereas participating with many others from various agencies, including Cordova High School, Rancho Cordova Police Department, Sacramento Metropolitan Fire Protection District, and the University of California Davis Medical Center, all coming together as an effective rescue team, playing a critical role and link in the chain of survival to effect an eventual life-saving effort. Whereas you personally have demonstrated outstanding courage and heroic actions utilizing CPR and an AED while providing basic life support and saving the life of Son Carson. Therefore, it is our honor to express our highest respect, deepest appreciation, and sincerest thanks on this day, September 26, 2019. It's my honor and privilege to be standing up here with Son. I've been a paramedic. My career lasted 30 years, and I was a paramedic almost every one of those years. And we wish more people had the positive outcome that you have had. Unfortunately, not all do, but what we do know is when the chain of survival that we speak of often in training and in our medical and EMS services, when that is reinforced by the public, we see outcomes that are this today. And that is responsible for you being here today. It was a well-done program. I want you to know that. So to you, and yes, and those phones around, I'll get it changed around for you. To Son Carson, who on August 29th, 2019, died of sudden cardiac arrest and was successfully resuscitated by a team of members from Cordova High School, Rancho Cordova Police Department, Sacramento Metro Fire, and the University of California Davis Medical Center, is hereby recognized as a sudden cardiac arrest survivor. And if I could have all the participants stay here just for a moment, I'd like to call up Kyle from Cardiac Science. Kyle Foster.
Thanks, Greg. So in Deerfield, Wisconsin, in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by cornfields, we manufacture these devices. And we do that for one reason, and that's to try to save a life one day. There's a lot of folks that go into manufacturing these, and they stand on assembly line and all day fumble with small parts and put together a bunch of pieces that come out to an actual AED. On the back wall in our manufacturing facility, we have the wall of saves, and Son, your name is now on there. We play "Staying Alive" by the Bee Gees over the loudspeakers, and the whole facility claps because they know that what they've done has saved a life. That AED will ship out and delivered in this instance to the school, and past that, most of our job's done. Thanks to the partnership with folks like Greg and his company, we do a lot to build awareness and to train. So when an instance happens, people do the right things, and that's the most important part. You know, for a job well done that you guys have done, to step up and do something that's just amazing in a very stressful situation. So I as well have some accommodations for you, and just wanted to say thanks and glad that I can be here to celebrate and just be a part of this. So thank you all.
So on behalf of Folsom Cordova, we want to thank the folks from Rescue Training Institute and Cardiac Science to give us the technology and the equipment to be able to perform the life-saving efforts. So let's give them another round of applause. And we're going to ask Son and his family to remain up here just for a few more minutes because we're not done issuing our certificates to the folks that are here in the room, and that we are just so thankful that cooler heads prevailed in a very stressful situation. And again, it's a team and a family that came together to surround Son and support him, and to the degree that we have him here today, and we're just so thankful for that. So I'm going to ask our governing board to join us on the floor with Son, and I'd like these groups to come forward so we can all gather around him and again share these commendations. So may we have all those that represent Cordova High School come forward first, please, and just envelop Son here with all of our support and care and compassion. We have certificates of commendation for our teams of life-saving crew too. Our certificate from Folsom Cordova says, this is a life-saving commendation from Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board of Education, presented to the Cordova High School staff in recognition of the provision of effective and appropriate emergency medical treatment that resulted in the preservation of a life on Thursday, August 29, 2019. So let's give a round of applause to Cordova High School staff. I'm going to present this to Mr. Hayden, Principal Hayden, on behalf of your staff.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for all you do. All right, did we get a picture, Dan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have the next team of folks come up, our health program staff, in recognition for their life-saving efforts. So Carrie, and I think I'm going to present the certificate to Carrie and our staff. Can we have the members of our Sac County Sheriff's Department and Zoe come forward so we can recognize you as part of this team of life-saving staff? And can we have the members from the Sac Metro Fire Department, who are also part of this life-saving effort, come on up and join us, please. So again, son, we are thankful that you are here in our presence, that your family is here. We are thankful for those that surround our students here. You know, this wouldn't have been possible without the folks that are here in the room and without the technology and the equipment. Son, we wish you all the very best as you continue on in high school, and I know you're involved with other activities at school too. We want to see your success as well. Oh, yes, one more person. Oh, we have the nurse from UC Davis here as well. Can you please come forward? Definitely part of our life-saving team. Thank you for being here. As you can see, it's a whole continuum and team and family that came together. So with that, son, we wish you all the best. Family, thank you for being here as well. And you're in our thoughts and prayers as you go forward in your career and in your future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Picture?
Everyone take one big step back real quick. There you go. That's it, just one. All right, excellent. I'm gonna have to back up. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. Good? You want? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jared.
Thanks, Jared.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna take it. I mean, I ain't gonna touch it.
We'll put it in the living room next to your flat.
There you go.
How you feeling? I've never seen anybody walk off.
She's an amazing dog. He's still in that puppy state.
Maybe someone else who's always happy to see
Thank you. That was very special. And in the excitement of the evening, I forgot to mention that a broadcasting is being made at the direction of the board and that the broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Thank you.
Good.
Moving on to the adoption of the agenda.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Clark, second by Mr. Short. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I do not have any cards for public participation this evening, so we will move on to reports of district organizations. Student Advisory Board.
Thank you. I just have a short report. So our next meeting is on October 8th at Cordova High School. We will be finalizing our yearly project and we'll also map out the logistics. We will also, for half of the meeting, continue the discussion of phones. So hopefully I'll be able to bring a lot to the next meeting about that topic. I also opened a student voice blog about this topic and a couple different topics where students can put their opinions on pretty much anything that they want to see, whether it be something that we bring up at the student advisory board meetings or something that they would like me to share here. So I'm working on distributing that because I feel like a lot of students don't know that there is that outlet. So I'm working on making sure that students know that they can participate through the website. So thank you.
Thank you. California School Employees Association. Welcome, nice to see you. Old presidents don't go away, they just keep coming back, right?
Mold. I'd like to thank the board this evening. Good evening. And my name is Omera Johnson. I'm the Chief Union Steward for CSEA. I'd like to thank the board, the superintendent, the district negotiation team, and our CSEA negotiation team for all the time and outward mindset working together to reach I'm sorry, I don't read well either, to reach an agreement in language for lateral transfer. This was a long, collaborative issue, and we've reached it, and we hope the board sees that we appreciate all the work that was done by the negotiation teams. That being said, there's always a little bitter pill that follows on other issues. And I'm sorry that I'm going to have to read this, but I can't look at you and get what I need to say out without reading. Our paraprofessionals, special ed folks, are having a very hard time. We cannot or do not have enough quality subs for when our paras are out. The ones we do get don't have quality training and don't know what to do. They can't help. Our paras that are employees are not getting information on our students' needs and how we can support meeting their needs and goals. Knowledge is power. That's what we teach our children. We need to teach our paras the same thing. When our special ed teachers are out, a sub may be gotten, and if a gen ed teacher is absent, that special ed teacher is pulled and put in a gen ed class. That leaves our paras to teach the class. Our paras are professionals, but if a medical emergency, which we just saw happens, or a student has a episode and there's only a para in there, that leaves our district and our students at risk. If the teacher's doing IEPs and there's not a sub gotten, but it's okay because the teacher's on campus. It's not okay, folks. It's not. Our paras take their jobs so seriously that it hurts them when their children don't get services. It's not okay. An injured child, the first one that's going to lose their job is that para that has given her life and her time, or his time, to those children's success. I know that special ed has a tight budget, but I hear special ed is encroaching on our general budget. It's not our responsibility to make sure it is our responsibility, that our special ed students and all students have a safe environment and quality education. These are the basics that we need to meet, the basics. Our RSP intervention teachers, if they're not there, the para runs the class. The para runs it. Okay? But yet let the para be out, and the teacher can't service all of those kids that day. What does that tell you about our paras? It tells you they are a critical point in our students' education. I don't understand, and please help me to understand and help them to understand how all sites have administrators with credentials. If there's not a sub, there are many administrators that do step in. But where those step in, the other ones step back. They're left in that classroom with the children they love and adore and would lay their life down for to teach, to let something possibly happen. I know we can't live our lives on what ifs, but these children, we are their voice. We are their voice, and we're teaching people to be accommodating and accepting, but the children we want them to accept are the ones we put on the back burner. Please, please do not put special ed as the target to budget issues. Do not do that. It's not fair to our children. It's not fair to our teachers. It's not fair to our parents. It's not fair. And for a gen ed teacher to look and say, well, I'm not doing it because we didn't get the funds because special ed is encroaching. You're not making a togetherness. You're driving a wedge. You're driving a wedge. I thank you. I am willing to help you work on any problem that you might want to work through on this. But having a child that went through special ed and knowing children in my life as relatives that are in special ed, it breaks my heart. And I appreciate you listening, but we're falling short, folks. We're falling short on our special ed kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Folsom Cordova Education Association. Welcome.
Thanks. Good evening. Wow. Omera, that was very eloquent and so well said. I will echo the same concern with the lack of IA substitutes. It's hard, and I don't know what the answer is. It impacts the classroom teacher, and most of all, it impacts the students. And I just became really aware of that, not at that part, but of the shortage this week. And it's definitely a concern. It's something that I'd like to look into, like through CTA. I know it's a statewide, I almost want to call it a crisis. I mean, it really is with the impact that it has, and kind of see statewide what's going on and what remedies, from our angle, we can try to look at. We are definitely behind you on that. We're in this together. We all need to be in it together for those kiddos. So I actually didn't really have a report this evening, but I feel strongly about that. So thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Folsom Cordova Leadership Association. Welcome.
There's a tight squeeze back there. Excuse me. Good evening. Good evening, members of the board, superintendent, collegian, esteemed colleagues. Elaine Cabrera, president of FCLA. I have a quick report on a couple of items to share with you today. I did bring copies with of the AXA goals that I'm happy to share with each of you at the end of my report. But one of the first items to report today is just showcasing some of our leaders and demonstrating excellent leadership outside of the district, beyond the district, I'll just say, and state level agencies and other areas, and even most recently, Folsom Magazine, for example, featured the Folsom women are tops in their field and included Dr. Sarah Kaligian and our own Catherine Alleman. So we're really proud to have them represent us and be recognized as well in our communities. The Association of California School Administrators named and featured in EdCal, which is a bi-monthly magazine newsletter report that highlights different things going on in our public school systems and definitely mentions teachers and students and certainly our administrators in leadership role. Of course, they featured our own Catherine Alleman as the 2019 Central Office Administrator of the Year, and she'll be recognized in November this year at the Leadership Summit. Lori Emmington and Kim Moore, both from Vista Del Lago High School, last fall presented on a topic at AXA Leadership Summit in San Diego, rethinking the school day intervention at the high school level. And they were so well received that they were invited to present at Boston in the affiliate of AXA, the national affiliate known as the National Association of Secondary Schools Principals. And there's more stories like this I can share, and it just gives me great pride to be amongst them and to work alongside such great and courageous leaders who are not only doing such a great job, but also bringing others along and supporting each other in the learning process and sharing the best practices in our role that we play. So that's one item. And then I don't know, I mentioned last time that we had taken a survey. As of last count, there's about not quite 48 members have responded. And really, I've read all the responses and there's multiple pages, but there's a lot of excitement related to some of the PLC work that's being done over the years, specifically really honing in and just responsive classrooms and looking at the improving their instruction, or their leadership and supporting our instructors and our support staff as well. So there's a lot of really exciting things to bring and share that our leaders are putting together. So I thank you for the time on that. And that's my report for FCLA.
Thank you. And follow up, District English Learner Advisory Committee.
That's right. So new hat. Good evening. I'm here also to report on District English Learner Advisory Committee. And we did have our meeting on September 17th, Tuesday. And I will be having parents and teachers participate in the presentations with me or on their own. But today I'm here for you. There was a couple of items that they generated. We'd certainly had agenda items that featured our recent tests from the springtime and helping our parents understand and also respond to questions they might have related to CASP and LPAC, which is our English Learner exam. And of course, CASP is our Common Core Exam in Language Arts and Math. But the parents were really curious about wanting to learn more about the dashboard they're hearing about, and certainly that we discuss at Data Walks. And it's always piques my interest, the level of curiosity that our parents bring to us. And you know, it seems intuitive to some of us, or it seems really complex, but I took some time to discuss it. And recently there was some information on English learners that hadn't been shared before, and they were concerned about the progress or the achievement gap. And so they had questions, they want answers, they had suggestions, and so more to come on that. They're excited about the continued adult ed ESL classes that we've featured, that we've been able to offer at our school sites as well as our adult ed site. There's always growing interest in that, and that's always a really good thing that we're able to offer for them and have them participate and share back the success stories, some going on to receive AA degrees, but in the journey of learning English. And last, their continuous interest in learning how to be we'll just say proficient users of PowerSchool, because they do have a growing a need and an interest in their student success in school. And so it just gave us a lot to think about and how to put together some support. So don't be surprised if I tap on your shoulder and say, can you come help present for our parents and let them know more about. But that's my report for DLAC. Thank you for the evening. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. Moving forward with agenda consent. Moved by Mr. Short,
I'll
second
second.
by Mr. Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Our first and only discussion action item for the evening is adopt revisions to Board Bylaw 9324, meetings and recordings. Is there any, Superintendent, do you have anything to add on this?
Well, this is the third time we're bringing it
Yes.
back, and I'm thinking third time is a charm. And we were reviewing the retention part of the policy that was recommended through CSBA, and I also looked up the government code on retention of audio and also audio and visual recordings. And I think if we follow the original language that was in our policy, which is, you know, any recording made for the purpose of meetings may be erased or destroyed 30 days, may be erased or destroyed 30 days after the meeting, I think reflects the government code, and it still gives us flexibility on retention. It doesn't mean we're not archiving, but I think if we go back to why it was as broad as it was before, and that the government code supports it as well, I would probably recommend that we would give ourselves more flexibility. And now that we are doing the actual live streaming, we could always come back and revisit this policy. But I think giving us more flexibility is not a bad thing.
Are there any questions from board members?
Yeah, the only question I had is, you know, moving forward, I know we're still looking at this technology, but there are, I think later down the line, we can look at a policy. My question is, when we come back, more than just the retention, there might be a more broad-based policy on if we do want to continue live streaming or archiving the live stream versus retention and versus what we actually put out there, because actually recording and archiving videos, it would be more transparent, because then you have it out there accessible to all our special education, our disabled community that I've been talking about. So I think we can continue down that road and look at it and really do it right if down the road. So I really like the way you presented this. This is exactly what I was talking about last week. So thank you for doing that.
Any other additional board questions? Any comments? Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak to this? Thank you.
Monica Merrill, parent. We're talking about the camera that's capturing everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's an interesting concept to be able to go back and review a recording. And those of us who are comfortable getting up and sharing personal details to a friendly audience and an accommodating audience, that's one part of this. I'm just wondering how much research has been done into would it stop people from walking in the door if they believe that they're going to be captured and then displayed in a public forum. And there have been some very contentious situations in the last, just even the last year, where if someone thought that they might be captured and that image might be proliferated in a way that they could no longer control, that it takes it out of these four walls and with this particular audience and this discussion forum, and it throws it into it will take on a life of its own. Right. So I just feel like I somehow have to, although maybe it's not for me, but it's for people in my heart that to look out for people who might have some very sensitive situations, even from just having their image of being able to locate someone in a room, in a district. And what does that mean for even FERPA considerations?
Thank you. I'm taking it back to board comments. Yes.
And thank you for that comment, because that was what I was talking about last week, to explore more policy related, because I've been studying different jurisdictions having similar issues, especially with child privacy. You know, we got to have protocols and procedures in place to protect those type of issues. So we do need to look at and have a really open discussion on how that impacts not only parents and open public, but our kids at most. So thank you for that comment.
Thank you. Is there any additional comments from the board?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment that I will not be supporting this tonight. I do think that I would like to see these available for longer periods of time for the public to access. But that being said, I understand it's probably going to pass. So I just encourage us to not make it a practice. I know this gives us the flexibility to take those videos down. I would like to not make that a practice to do regularly after 30 days, especially because, you know, some of these meetings people will want to go back and look at and figure out what's going on. Or, for example, with the upcoming boundary discussion for those parents and families that can't make it out, I think it's going to be really helpful for them to have access to those videos. And I would just make the point that, you know, this is a public forum. It's a public meeting. The live stream is simply an extension of that. I think that the positives to that accessibility of our meetings here, giving it to people that maybe can't physically come, giving people access to that is, I think, a tremendous improvement on what we've had so far. And certainly want to be, you know, aware of any challenges as well. But this is a very common practice in our city council meetings, in our state legislatures, in our public committee hearings across the state and the country. And it is that way for a reason. And this is also something that was supported by just about every community member or teacher that it was discussed with leading up to this. So I just want to point out, you know, the broad set of public support for live streaming in general. But I do want to explain why I won't be supporting this tonight. I did agree. I did prefer, I should say, the previous recommendation. However, I still hope that we can move forward and not make that a practice of taking those videos down right away. Thanks.
And I do have a comment that I would, in looking at this, I kind of agree with Mr. Hoover that I don't like erase and destroy. I'd rather archive for a period of time, or if we could add archive in there so that we could, if we had need to go back and review them, they are a helpful tool to have. So that bothered me this time around when I was looking at some of the other districts' websites, and a number that, you know, some of our surrounding districts have them out there for years. And I understand the concern and limiting it to 30 days, but I'd like to consider adding archive. Yeah.
I do support all that. I think what I was mentioning is the exposure to liability when we're not ADA compliant. And so I think that's, as we explore this, when you're doing live streaming, the problem with live streaming is you don't have a delay time for editing. And so if you study this, the other jurisdictions that are doing that are being compliant. They have outsourced the editing procedures, so the live streaming has somebody in the background has a delay in there, and if there's an event, they're able to stop it, and they can be able to do things. They're able to do the subscribing and everything, and that's a service that you have to pay for, so we have to explore to be compliant. If we start archiving non-compliant videos, we're exposing ourselves, so that's why the flexibility at this point in the process, as our superintendent says, is really a good thing. I think, yes, the practice wouldn't be, but the practice right now, until we really get a good policy in place and how we are totally transparent to our disabled community and being compliant out there, I think that's why we have to proceed with caution.
Do we have any additional comments? If not, I need a motion.
I'll move it.
Moved by Mr. Short, second by
I'll second.
Mr. Reed. Superintendent, you have something to add?
No, I just wanted clarification that the motion was on the original language and not the revision that is
the one that's presented tonight with the 30-day on video stream and the regular 3 years on the recorded for our meeting notes, the audio. That makes sense.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
No.
And opposed, Josh?
I just want to be on the record.
Yes.
No, thank you.
And I hope that we will continue the discussion because we do have some ongoing concerns in developing this practice. So I'm sure we'll be revisiting this at some point. Okay, thank you.
President Rankin, can you just clarify who were the no votes on that?
Just Mr. Hoover.
Okay, thank you.
Reports to the Board of Education. Superintendent?
Today, we had our first Superintendent Communication Committee meeting with representatives from each of our schools, and I want to thank Shauna Cook-Harvey and Scott Meyer for starting our kickoff of year of talking about student well-being and social emotional learning and the supports that we have for students and how critical they are, as well as what we do academically. But we have so many folks in our district that provide resources for our students, and sometimes our parents are saying, we didn't know we had these folks. How do we access them? So I think just raising that awareness, which was a topic that came up as a future meeting topic, so that's why we started our year with that. So it was a well-attended meeting and I think informative, and we committed to a follow-up of sharing a clearinghouse or directory of information back with the parents, and then also putting that on our website so it's accessible to our public and our families as well. And then just a reminder for our board is that we have the Sac County Trustee Dinner next Wednesday evening at 5:30. So if you haven't RSVP'd to Kelly, please do so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board of Education business. Is anybody ready? Mr. Short?
I really loved the presentation. That is really great to see how everybody works cohesively in long-term programs for first responders and how we can save lives. But I just that was really great. So I just want to thank everybody that participated and saved a life. That is really important. Hopefully we'll continue to practice these first, I guess, emergency situations. The other thing, our speaker tonight in regards to the special education and substitution, as you know, it's been a state crisis going on for a long time. And I know we've had discussions back with the board here, and I think maybe we should resurrect some of those discussions on maybe strategies and best practices out there, maybe to attract, maybe a little more competitive. There's all kinds of things that maybe we can do to make the substitute pool become more attractive for folks to come here. I know other districts are doing other things because we're in a competitive market right now. And yes, there is a shortage, and yes, there is a problem, but we can't take a blind eye to that, especially when it deals with our kids and when you're talking about the programs we're talking about out there put our kids at risk, that we do want to have a safe, conducive learning environment for our kids, and that's our number one thing our board needs to look at. So I do appreciate those comments, and I think we do need to focus, hopefully the board and our staff here take a look at that and bring it back to the board. So I want to encourage that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Reed.
Thank you. I have a few things. First of all, I agree with Mr. Short. I think that I actually would be interested in having maybe staff provide the board a little bit of a background and explanation of the crisis involving substitute teachers, and just for my benefit of understanding the issues a little bit more clearly of what's driving the issue and potential solutions. And maybe there isn't a potential solution, but I would like to learn a little bit more about that. Also, over the last year, or this year, I should say, I visited 8 of our 33 schools, and I visited 2 this week. And I just have to say how proud I am of our schools. It's just truly amazing what we're doing, both in Rancho Cordova and in Folsom. The dedication of the teachers, the staff, the principals. It really warms my heart to see what we're doing out there. There is one interesting thing that has come out of those meetings, though. I think in most of those schools, I've asked the principal the same question. And one of the questions is, do you ever get together with your fellow principals to have, once a year, half a day, where you just sit down and discuss the issues, best practices that you're implementing at your school, hear what's going on, what the issues are at your fellow colleague schools? And interestingly, all the principals said no. They don't do that. And at least 2 or 3 of them expressed an interest to do that. When I ask, why do you think it doesn't occur right now, they're like, we just don't have time. So I'm wondering if there's any opportunity for the school district to consider identifying like a half day where the school principals can come together and just sit down and discuss their issues. And what was particularly interesting is in Rancho Cordova, the feeling was, having especially the principal at the Folsom Middle and, at Cordova, at the middle school and the elementary schools, being able to discuss the issues that they see as the students elevate per grade level could actually have a benefit where the elementary school students or elementary school principals are helping the middle school and the high school prepare for what's coming up. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that idea out there for maybe folks to consider. And then finally, I want to talk a little bit about the STEM in the STEM program. We obviously have a school in Rancho Cordova that's dedicated STEM-based education in Riverview STEM Academy. And I have been thinking a lot about this. I'd like to see if explore the possibility that we could do something similar in the city of Folsom and have an elementary STEM academy. And I think it's particular, maybe timely to raise the concept, considering that we're looking at the boundaries, the elementary and middle school and high school boundaries. And, I'm, potentially it's Blanche Sprentz. I'm not sure. I guess I would defer to staff. But if there's a possibility that we could create a STEM-based education route where it starts in elementary school. We already have STEM at Satyr Middle School, and it's very popular. In fact, there's more students who want to enter the STEM at middle school than there are spots available. And then potentially you could have a STEM program, focus program at Folsom High School. And I think that might be one of the avenues that we might find to drive students who live within the Vista boundaries, who might want to switch over and go to an elementary, middle, and high school that's in the Folsom High boundaries, which might help provide some relief on the population at Vista del Lago. But it's just an idea, and again, just wanted to share it and maybe see if staff could consider whether something like that could be added as one of the options as they're considering the boundaries and what to do with our boundaries in the city of Folsom. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hoover?
All right. Just wanted to thank all of our staff who put together. I had the opportunity to attend our first boundary discussion public forum on Thursday night at Folsom High School. I got to walk around, talk with a bunch of parents about some of their concerns, and just wanted to thank staff for putting that together and making it very interactive. A couple of takeaways that we heard a lot on Thursday night were that a lot of parents really do want to see their kids go to the same middle school and the same high school. I know that a lot of the scenarios that have been put together for a solution to the boundary problem do not have it that way. We have kids going to Folsom Middle and then Folsom High School, or a group of kids doing that. And so I think that was definitely something that got brought up a lot. So I definitely encourage us as we continue this discussion to keep that in mind, that I know not every community does it this way, but I think we've done it for so long that I think a lot of families really do like that continuity. So I would definitely encourage us to keep that in mind. And then the other issue that was raised was, grandfathering, and when do we start applying these boundary changes to families? And so I want to be very mindful of that as we move forward as well, and not to apply it to kids that are already in 8th grade, for example. And so thank you for the opportunity to have that discussion, and that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Clark?
Yes, actually, Mr. Short, Mr. Hoover stole most of my thunder of what I was going to speak about, especially with special ed and the boundaries. I also had the opportunity to attend the boundary meeting, and there was a lot of good conversation. The tables there were very involved and active, and I actually look forward to attending there again on the 3rd. I want to give a special shout out to Elena Cabrera and her team. There's also another issue that's going on in the district, and that's something that we are addressing. Student homelessness. Actually have one of your staff members come out to a community meeting and do a very powerful PowerPoint on what we're doing to address those homeless students. And it's just not the ones that are sleeping on the street, but the ones that are basically couch surfing. So I appreciate the words and the presentation that she made. And other than that, great Vista parade, enjoyed it, a great homecoming, and I look forward to Cordova and Folsom next week.
Thank you. I wish Son was still here because I wanted to mention to him that I hope to see him in a drama or play production because, as many of us know, this happened when he was in Mr. Cornfield's classroom with Mr. Kruger, who were both here this evening, and I wanted to make sure that they both got recognition for their role in the fantastic outcome that we had. So I hope we will see him on a playbill sometime this year. I'm going to echo the concerns about the special education aides. And I know we've been hearing about this since last year, and I know it is a problem, but I also know that we have some great minds and some great staff members who can all work together and try to find a solution to this problem. If any district can do it, we can do it. So I have confidence in staff continuing to work with CSEA to find ways that we can make a dent in this problem, and thinking outside the box, whatever we need to do, but I'm be interested to hear future discussions about this.
We have plenty of aides that are willing to help and want to sit on committees that their input. We have plenty of them that would be willing to sit with any board member, any committee to help work on a solution.
And I would encourage them to work with staff. I'm sure that our superintendent and her staff will be very involved in this process. I think we've all echoed up here that it is a concern of the board. So we will tackle this problem and looking forward to hearing the solutions. I wanted to mention, Elena, that Monica Merrill's here this evening with Power School, and the first thing that popped into my mind when you mentioned that the parents that you're dealing with are struggling with Power School, I know that Monica always likes to find ways for Power School to help our community and our schools, so maybe there's something that, a partnership that can come together. I want to reiterate a little of Mr. Hoover's remarks about the middle school. I had been saying this since the recommendations came out too. I would like to see a way that if we have students going to Folsom High that are assigned to Folsom Middle, that there is at least an option of school choice or something if the parents want it. So I'm just going to reiterate some of the concerns that Mr. Hoover was mentioning. I know it's a problem. I know it's a space issue, but it is a concern if we're to parents, if they could, they would appreciate having the option to have the middle school to high school continuum. All of them might not take that option, but if we could open up school choice a little bit, depending upon whatever decision is made. And I think that is it. Oh, and in regards to Mr. Reed made some comments about principals getting together to discuss best practices. Superintendent, I hope you'll follow up with sharing what we already do and what we hope to do. So address those concerns. And with that, have a good evening. That wasn't the shortest, but it was done. Well, we're done. We got it done.